As long as you want. Okay. Yeah. Is it good to go? Okay. So basically, this is I'm leaning between two phrases, whether prove me wrong or change my mind. But like, this is just meant to just be a discussion where we just talk. You can disagree with me all. I'm not gonna get offended, and I'm not gonna like attack. I just to have a conversation out there and to reason. So I don't know. Do you have any questions? Or it's like to prove Christianity wrong, change my mind. If God's not true, guess what? I actually don't want to follow him, but I'm pretty convinced he is.
Well, thinking of
no pressure. And you can talk,
God,
and
this is
again,
like being put on the
I will.
spot.
No, I'll help. I'll try. I'll be the most gracious arguer you've ever had. I mean it.
Okay.
Just have a conversation.
Well, I mean, I wasn't ready to argue
no
the existence or non-existence of God. I mean, personally, I don't have much sway in it. If God does exist, if he doesn't, my life is going this way either way.
Okay, and let me actually make it a little easier.
Oh yeah.
I think if I just
way nicer.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's just this one. I find it's easier for me. Actually, I think there is a big sway, especially if like Christianity is true. So like, to sum up Christianity in like a few sentences is, so God's real, right? We all deserve hell. Every single, but not if you see upright just Christians feeling all good about themselves, they're not ones who've read the Bible good enough. Because it says everyone deserves hell because they're a sin, but God came down as Jesus to come die for our sins, and like there's actual penalty if Christianity is true specifically, because other people have different ideas of God. If Christianity is true, it should have big sway. Like that's the big reason. Since I believe it's true, like he should be everything, because he's God who said, "Hey, come follow me. I'm gonna come rescue you of your sin. All I need you to just come follow me." Because if we don't, like we're just gonna bring more evil into this perfectly good world, and then we do deserve hell, and hell could be what hell is. That's not necessarily the Americanized term. Americans have a bunch of different ideas when like let's twist them, but it really if he is real, it matters big time. Like it really should have sway. Now, if you don't believe it's true, why would you have any sway? But if it is, I'm gonna tell you I'm like that. Why we're trying to fight? I want to have everyone know him, because like if someone's gonna go off a cliff, gonna drive off a cliff, like whether that no, I'm gonna want to stop them so badly, and then they go to Disney World instead. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
you kind of lost me there in the end, but now I've thought of a good question.
Yeah, come on, brother.
How would you argue against the idea that God's kind of a dick for doing that? I mean,
sure,
he made humanity in the way that it is now, innately sinful, right?
Okay.
And then his like solution is to create his like little avatar, Jesus, to like die for everybody. That's such a dick move.
Okay, because he made people evil. That's the evil part?
He made people innately gonna go to hell, and they have to follow this like set of rules that he deems as the right way. If he just wanted that to happen beforehand, he should have just made that the case for everybody to be good, like innately good in the beginning, like from the start. But instead, he creates this audience for himself so that he can so he can be the savior of the problem he created.
Yeah, no, that's a very intriguing idea. Now, the one thing I'm curious, and I'll just talk with you. Can you think of how he can do that with still providing free will, to not have just loving puppets or robots that just love him, and they actually love each other, real love, when he makes them like and forces them to do that.
Yeah,
and that to have real love, like this ultimate good of real love. I haven't heard a good solution to that.
I mean, I'm no god.
Yeah, I mean, neither.
I'm no god or anything, but I feel like if he was, since he has hell to exist as the punishment for how we live our lives on, it's like, what's the point? Obviously, he sees that there's a good and evil route to your life. Yet if he wants us to do the good, like, good in it of itself, why give us the ability to do bad?
Why give us the ability?
Exactly. Yeah.
With the free will.
Yeah, with free will.
Choose. Let's see if I can think of an analogy. Like for instance, like for a parent who wants the kid. Let's say
Yeah.
a kid. This is a great analogy. If they don't want the kids to do any bad whatsoever, they want actually a free loving kid. What he could do, or want us to love him, or do only good, do only his choice. Like he could just restrain him, like just tie him up,
Yeah.
and like in this robot suit, so he can freely love. But as soon as he wants to do something bad or like not clean the chores, like it stops him, like tases him, and like you can't have a free. Like where's freedom without again? That's a big thing, and I understand that because like we all have this innate like thing that evil's bad, right?
Yeah.
If you want, he could have made robots. Like he could have done that.
Well, he kind of did with the angels and stuff. They're like his little puppets. To be fair, I don't know a lot about what the angels
to be
are.
honest, and I'll tell you this: most Christians don't either, even though some claim to.
Yeah.
But the one thing we do know is that it's that the Bible talks about how the angels did have a choice. Like a third of the angels in heaven actually chose to rebel against him. So they're not even puppets. I think they work differently because it sounds like they're fine.
That is something.
This gets deep. It goes really deep. And a lot of people have theories, but yeah, all we know, it sounds like they're final, like where they're like the demons. It sounds like they've chosen forever, and it sounds like the angels have chosen forever. And that's interesting to ponder, which I'm pondering. Because I don't have all the questions. I'm just here to have talk, and I might say I don't know the things, but like it sounds like I've been pondering. Like, okay, 70 years. What's 70 years? Give or take for a lifetime for just to decide. For eternity. That sounds big, but I just have to ponder. Like, okay, God knows how long it takes someone to permanently decide and make their choice. And then he probably did that with angels. And if it only takes us 70 years or so, give or take, surely that they've decided by now. So
right.
which is interesting. It just goes really deep, and it really is interesting with but yeah, the freedom. I just like that's the thing I want you to answer.
The free will.
Which seems like a great good because he could have made robots. He really could have. But how does he do free or real love? I think not just free love. I think real love is by definition free. But how does he make love and not robots? And yeah, how does he make love without letting evil in the world?
Yeah, I guess that's a one or the other, But I don't know.
Like, would you rather be free? Like he created. Would you rather be? You like your freedom to choose things, freedom to choose who to love,
I
who
do.
not to
I
do?
feel like if God chose that I wouldn't, if I was just going to be innately this thing, then I guess in that case I wouldn't have much say in it, right?
But he would know, and he would like, how much value is that? Like, would you rather have? Tell me this. Would you rather have for a girlfriend someone who just is absolutely forced to please your every whim, like? You want to do video? I don't want to hang out. I don't do video games. Okay, I'll watch. I'll bring you coffee. I'll do everything. Or would you rather have someone who freely chooses to do something? Now that could be a struggle, brother. Okay, I struggled for so many years, and I just got married. So
I'm aware.
I remember I'm watching.
Yeah.
You watch? Every chance you watched Attack on Titans?
I haven't seen Attack on Titans.
Oh well, there's one person who's just like a girl who's loyal to this one guy. They're not dating, but they're a thing. You know what I mean? And I just remember I was watching it this morning while vacuuming for work, and I just remember being so like a few years ago, if I watched that, I would have been like, oh, I'm so sad and lonely. Why can't I find a girl who wants that? But like who actually freely chooses. Now I finally found that, but it'd mean nothing if that girl didn't, if my wife, if she just was forced to, like it wouldn't mean anything. Where now it's so beautiful. And sometimes she annoys the crap out of me. She annoys can annoy the crap out of me.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have it any other different because when she does choose to love me, which is a lot, it's so real and so beautiful. So how do we?
Of course, yeah.
And in some way, and we always get into it. Some of the evil can make I think the bad in the world can make the good even better.
Yeah, I mean it's a nice hypothetical and all, but I don't feel like it. I don't feel like that's equivalent to what God would be working with, right?
Okay.
It's more like looking at what God's having. Your hypothetical would be if God's trying to make another God equal to him, right? Like,
oh sure, it falls apart. Yeah, sure.
Because our relationship with God isn't really like we're dating him. It's more like he created everything. So it would be more like, would you rather your little creations sometimes just do something that you didn't intend them to do, and like it could be devastating or something, or would you have them perfectly into what your image you'd want.
Oh,
That's kind of
yeah.
more the level in which
that
he's
that is
working
very
with,
true.
you know?
Yeah, my analogy definitely breaks down.
Mhm.
Or even if I would use a parent-child,
Yeah, even
analogy,
parent-child, it's
breaks
still
down.
not even.
But it gives
it's
us, but it does paint the illustration I think that we need is the
Mhm.
free love.
Yeah.
And is ultimately where they can choose good. Where
Mm.
I don't think them choosing good does anything. Has no credit. Like if I were, I don't know. I can't think of another example, but surely you see that like that issue I'm bringing
Right,
up
right.
with like the freely choice. Like he could do his will, like or his will, because I think his will is to make us free. But like he could get everything good. He could have not stained creation, or brought in this stain. But if he didn't, it just you would have nothing different than trees, just trees that could move, or just
Well, Picasso and like a painter could make a painting, and it would still bring joy in one. It could still give off the image of love, right? But that painting is made in the painter's image with no like chance to it. The painting itself isn't changing, right? So that could be a way, but I understand. I do get where you're coming from.
But the such greater good, because that's like the girlfriend analogy is only meant to paint like the immense good. It's the immense good from it instead of just like this, this robot who just does every single whim. And, just like you program, like you even program this robot girl to just like do every whim, just make sure you're giving massage whenever you want to, won't take you name it.
Yeah.
But that's the hole it's meant to paint. You see it perfectly fine to not have free freedom, and honestly to any degree, because like how far are we gonna go? Because Christianity says like it's not only like murder's bad, but then like Jesus came, or God in the flesh came and said, it's not only like it's not just murder is the standard. It's if you even hate a brother or sister, you committed murder in your heart, and that's a standard creation. Even the thoughts, you have to compress everything. You don't have anything. So like to what degree does he do? And then it becomes like it's literally just robots. It's not just like if you finally are mean to someone, like we're talking about perfectly good creation. He made everything beautiful, and then if you do the sin, the evil in the world, that brings evil into a perfectly to good. So he needed to do some sacrifice and let that in if he wants to have us be free. So that's the big problem, which why I can't agree with you.
Yeah, I get that. That's a toughie.
It's a huge toughie. And again, I've gone on my journey where I think I found satisfying answers for these, or satisfying like where those answers don't make sense. But also, I'm not going to claim that I know everything or know every answer. But that's a huge thing I see, to why God couldn't have done that, and why there needs to be at the minimum, at least for free will alone, why he's let us stumble. But there's other reasons I think as well. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, any other thoughts about things that what doesn't sit right? Because there has to be something, or it's like, am I speaking sense, or just like, because I'll help you find what's not sitting right with me, because it's or am I just speaking like so much sense and not funny? I don't know.
No. I'm just thinking.
Yeah, no problem.
I wasn't in this mindset when I woke up.
No problem. No. Yeah, I understand. Just come and love a podcast. I'll come talk about it. Yeah.
You ever read Dante's Inferno?
I've heard a lot about it, but never read it.
The basic idea that Dante goes on this journey through hell from God or whatnot, because he's full of himself. He wrote himself, and he wrote his own fan fiction about hell, and then like wrote it. Anyways,
yeah.
There's certain different layers of hell. Depending on what you did in life is your punishment.
Yeah.
If you were a greedful person, the like layer of greed is you'd be boiling in a pot of gold for all of eternity, never able to escape because you're just drawn back into it. I don't know where I was going with this. Never mind. I completely. Have you ever read it?
No, I've heard a lot about it. I've heard some of his journey. And again, I've heard some from. I've heard some online and some from people, and apparently, like, he put whoever he hated in hell.
Yeah.
Which sounds hilarious.
He
to
took
me.
a bunch of like people who he was like despised against, and like this one guy who was like kind of like a rival to him at the time.
Yeah.
Right. He was like, here I am in this story, going through hell, just journeying from God. God told me to do this. And you're here because you're a sinner. You suck. You.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah, I'm gonna go for it. I'll just
okay,
bleep
okay.
it out. Worst case scenario. Oh, let me think this through. Try not to. If you do, I'll bleep it out. Whatever.
Okay.
I really no problem. I'll bleep. Yeah. Again, and if it's stressing you out, don't worry about it. I'll just bleep it out.
Okay.
I think. I haven't decided. This is the first time doing it. So.
Oh, really?
But,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
no.
It's an interesting read. I like the idea. It definitely allows for like media, to have a solid idea for what hell is like.
Yeah. It's really
interesting.
It's intriguing, and this is an interesting topic to say, like, with hell. We don't like we all
what does it look like,
we picture it as America, and honestly, I think because of Dante's Inferno, I haven't read it.
It definitely has a lot of influence over what we see it
but
as.
We view it as like American culture as just we go into fire. It's just the worst kind of torture forever.
And brimstone and pitchforks stabbing you in the back for all eternity.
But we know minimal about it. I'll tell you what we do know about it. It's separation from God. There's weeping and gnashing of teeth. But sometimes in the Bible, it's described as fire. Sometimes it's just described as an outer darkness. And so all we know, we know there's agony there, like weeping and gnashing of teeth. That's a phrase the Bible talks about a lot.
Yeah.
But we don't know how long that lasts. We don't know if the punishment's the same throughout history. We don't know if it's just because of the sin. Because at one point, like, when God departs from people for good, like the ability to do good. Because I think, like, I don't know how many philosophy classes you've had, but it really sounds like with free will it doesn't lead to good. Like, if you want to fight for yourself, but I think that's what it leads to. I think we need God's goodness in us. I think it'll just lead to worse and worse conditions. Like, there's another book called The Great Divorce, which talks about hell. It's just another thing, and he's not claiming to have the truth. It's a really good book. It's a short read too. It's super interesting to me. But it just talks about hell being like, just like always rainy. Like, people have the freedom; they can make a house in a second, but it's millions of miles wide because people keep going separating from each other because they don't want to be by each other because they annoy the crap out of it, and it just becomes like this like not good place to be. But everyone, I don't know. It's interesting. But the one thing I'll say with it is we don't exactly know if it's torture forever.
Yeah, or if it's
instead
just
of like the American culture, because we need to fight against that and go to it. But yeah, I mean, it's the real deal. Like I said. Do you understand like why Christians or why Christianity? I want to just say Christians. I honestly Christians get under my skin and annoy
they
me.
Suck.
And
no offense to any Christian listeners out there, but
I think they all deserve hell, and really we all do, and only by God's grace alone. But I won't fight for Christian, or I won't fight to talk about Christians' good names, but I'll do Christianity, and Christianity says we all deserve hell. Everyone deserves hell because of their sins. Does that make sense to you? Is that like nothing? Does that jive with you?
I kind of.
Or do people seem innately good in that? And like, it's like, oh really? Like,
I don't
this
know.
Person?
I don't know. I feel like if you're innately good, you're innately good. It doesn't really matter what beliefs you follow. But yeah.
Now I guess here's an interesting question. I'd say now if Christianity was true, now it is true. Like God is Jesus is real, and like, oh frick, J Dog.
Yep.
You what you're saying is true. You're God. Do you think
Big J.
would you follow it, or is there stuff in Christianity would you say no? Would you if you knew it was true?
Probably not. I mean,
probably not. Ooh, interesting. This is interesting.
Probably not. I feel like I don't have to go to church every week just to be a good person. I don't know.
If it was true, no, that's
if it's true.
If it was true. If it was true, like God's real. There's gonna be an end judgment, and not just the judgment. Because honestly, my main goal isn't I don't want to scare people. I do want to tell people about the reality. Like, again, if someone's going off this cliff, like, that's scary. But if it's true, like, it needs to be said. But yeah, if it was true, if the like there's heaven and hell, there's what he says is good. What he claims to say is he's good. He's infinitely good, all powerful, all knowing, all good.
Yeah.
Would you become a Christian if you knew it was true?
I mean, it would be hard to refute the fact. Obviously, you can't say that you're an atheist anymore, right? Or agnostic or whatnot. But I guess, yeah, I would have to become one, but I don't know if I would be practicing.
Oh, why not? That's interesting.
That's the thing, you know?
Because that confuses me. Because I hear this a lot.
Mhm.
There's a lot of agnostics or atheists out there who say
I mean,
they wouldn't follow it even if it was true. So that seems like that makes no sense to me. Because even if I didn't like the guy, like I talked with my mom doesn't believe, and she's like, "Why would I?" Was like, even if I didn't like the guy, like I wouldn't at least I prefer heaven and like get over myself. Like even if I didn't and get over myself in the sense like if it's true, like I'd much rather be on that side, pure like goodness and lead to like again eternal joy instead of just doing what I want to do. Because I think it's like hard to get us out our head. But like you see what I'm saying? If it was true,
yeah, I kind of see what you're saying. I mean, if it's, oh my God, is that Coog? I love that guy.
That's
no,
great.
if it's, I don't know. I'd probably have a lot more questions.
Yeah,
you know, if I could ask him myself.
Yeah, but
ask Jesus, and you know, I'd be like, hey man, am I going to be sent to hell if I just don't go on Sunday? You know,
but
I really like sleeping in.
Yeah,
you know.
Well, no, not just that. Not that. Like the idea of it is like it's not. And where this is what I want to fight with the culture perceives of Christianity. It's not just like it's not a system to do good. Like people think. Because you're right when you said
that's the thing though. Having heaven and hell though, that's an end reward for how you do in life. Obviously, just because those exist, that means like you're gonna have to act and think and do a certain way in life if you want the end result to be, you know, good.
Now that's interesting. I'm glad I brought this up because this brings a misunderstanding here. Like, and I also don't always know what to say it. So when I said the phrase like Christians deserve hell.
Yeah.
Like the only reason we're saved is not by any of our good works. Our good works, God doesn't put them on a scale someday and say, "Oh, enough or not." No, it's that we're actually all evil. We all deserve it, but He paid the cost for us. So it's not
then
balancing
we're good.
scale.
Yeah, we're chilling.
So, but here's the deal. Here's the one catch. Because then, like a lot of people think, and there's even Christians, or I'm going to say this: Christians who think this, that think, "Oh, I said I believe in Jesus, I'm good."
Yeah.
But if you actually believe it, like if you you're gonna fall. Like you're gonna fall. If you think everything He says is the wisest way, the best for you. Like
probably. I mean,
who's like do you have like a famous singer? Do you like?
Bon Jovi. I really like Bon Jovi.
Bon Jovi. Now I don't know where he's at in his career, but let's say he's at his prime.
He's really old.
Let's say he went back to his prime, okay?
Okay.
And he's about to perform in Edson. Okay. Now you could say like
hype ass
I tell you about him, and then you say, "Oh, I believe you." But if you believe me, if you actually believe me, you're gonna go to Edson right away and go watch him.
Oh yeah.
But if you don't believe, but there's a lot of people who say, like in Christianity, there's a lot of people for Bon Jovi Christianity. There's a lot of people who say, "Oh, I believe in him," and then yet they're not gonna take a step that way. Now God says we can't, we're all cripples. We can't do it on our own steps.
Yeah.
So that He died for us so that we can take transit, right? Paid the cost of the transit.
You know, if
so that's the idea of it. Like if we believe it, we're actually gonna go take certain walks, taking steps. We might stumble and fall. We might fail miserably, but we don't do it by our own strength. He paid the cost. So eventually, even if you're falling like crazy, God will pay a transit to come watch Bon Jovi. You feel me?
Right. Oh, you're kind of losing me on the analogy here.
Well,
sorry, I kind of got what you were saying, but
I was putting in too much detail. But the one thing I was trying to say is, if people believe, like if you believe, you actually believe in Bon Jovi's there, you would start walking that direction.
Oh yeah.
I was trying to fill so much into this analogy. It was confusing.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's the thing though. just saying that if this was a well-known fact that this God was real and this religion was correct, I think everybody would be part of that religion because they can't. There's no like doubt left.
Right.
There's no doubt for it. It's kind of like
But
that is a fundamental truth of the world, I guess. So everybody does that.
Yeah, right. But I think in Christianity, what it comes down to is, I think the main reason why God doesn't put His name in the sky every 10 years that I'm here, is because ultimately, well, there's a lot I can't say, but ultimately it doesn't come down to absolute proof because we don't have everything in our existence. I think it comes down to this. The answer to the question. I think people either are willing to give up our wills for His, or we want to do what we want to do. We want to be our own king. And I think what it comes down to is like, because I asked so many people that people say, if Christianity was true, would you do it? And there's so many people, even if it was true, who say no, where we want to be our own. So even if it was true, it's not the proof that does it. So that's a big truth. If we were willing to submit to His ways, the infinite God of the universe, which I think it's hard to argue against the guy who knows everything.
Right. Yeah.
And that's a big problem.
Shit. You know what? If I'm chilling at the lake one day and I'm swimming around, not practicing in this scenario, and then J Dog himself walks up to me while I'm out there in the water, and he's like, "Hey man, you should do this one thing," and I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I'll probably do that. I guess so." Because this is he's good, so he's he's like, "Hey man, this will really help you, like benefit you," and I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, I don't
One thing meaning being a Christian,
huh?
One thing meaning being a Christian.
No, I mean like that's the thing though. You're saying it like it's something you have to decide. I feel like if this is the case, I already am a Christian in this scenario, because that would just mean like, I believe in God. Because that's like saying I believe, I exist at this time.
But would you believe in the scenario enough to, like, if you believe like God's in the church, like Bon Jovi's in Edson, to start walking that direction, or you believe God's in the Bible?
What do you mean by in that direction? Like
I'm trying to connect it to the analogy of Bon Jovi, because if you say you believe Bon Jovi and yet you don't go walk in that direction, like, or running, I know you don't actually believe, right? Even if you say it. So in the same way, if you say you're a Christian, you believe in Jesus, you're gonna start walking to the things He says to do, like to know Him through His word, to be a part of the church, if you actually believe. You feel me? I mean, like, does that make sense? That analogy work, at least for making sense of what I'm trying to say?
I guess so. Yeah. I mean, if he asks me something and I think about it for a bit and I'm like, that doesn't seem like too much out of my way, I'll go do it.
Out of your way, though, and
I mean, I'm not gonna.
But you believe this is the God of the in this scenario, so
in
like
this
out
scenario.
of your way, like I don't like. Is there a person on this earth that just told you to do something, you do it whether you like it or not? like if the president came and signed, like, I don't know. That's why
I'd give it a good think over beforehand.
A good think over.
Yeah.
But do you understand the worldview? Like, if it's true,
this is just something this is just something that exists in this world. That's just that in the scenario, this is just something that is real. So
because I get
just chilling.
And maybe I'm gonna switch part of my wording for more clarification, because he calls us to be followers of Him. Yeah, that's the salvation. We could be crappy, and He purely knows the heart. But He calls us to be followers of Him. If you only like occasionally, like, I'll do something He maybe tells me to do, like
if he asks. What he asks, sure.
And and this is more helpful. What He asks in the Bible is for us to give Him everything.
Okay.
So would you give Him everything? If it was true. Now again, that's a big if. That's what he asks.
I gotta ask him what it's for.
What is it for?
Yeah. What is my $20 going to? When he's Dude, like,
you have the funniest way of describing this thing.
Jesus asks me like, "Hey man, I need all of your money," and I'm like, "Dude, I need my money. I don't know about you. What is this for?"
He says,
"What do you need the money for?" He's like,
He says
I'm gonna be giving it to other people. Can't you just perform some miracles or something? Do you really need my 20?
Yeah.
I was gonna go get Subway with this 20, man.
Yeah, we're talking about the God of the universe. He knows, and he'll take care of you down the line. And there's people like I'm telling you, people who understand the message of Christianity. There's people in this world who are willing to go get tortured for years on end and then die a painful death for this cause. I'm good. And you were just, I'm good. Even if it was true.
Yeah, I'm good.
Man, interesting.
I'm chilling.
Now, do you see my confusion at all? Like why I'm confused?
I see it.
If it was, like, can you address it? Why you think like what you think you can address it to see like help me make more sense of it? Because like if it's true, you wouldn't want to follow it.
Yeah, I mean, I want to. That's the thing, man. I'm here in this life right now. Even if I know there's an afterlife, I'm still here in this one right here.
Yeah.
I want to be comfortable. I just want to chill my life. You know? I don't want to go out of my way to do this, that, and this. I just want to live a comfortable life. Because no matter what, I'm still here in the now.
Yeah. But you wouldn't worry about like, because this is, if Christianity is true again, this is a small 70 years compared to the timeline of forever, to where you'd care about this life instead of the rest.
Yeah, man.
If it was true,
this life is important. You know,
like that's. I feel like that's just saying like, if we're talking about a day, like if we're talking about like let's say our lifetime, we make eternity a lifetime. That's like saying like, I want to go to Disneyland for a day, even if it means I have the rest of my life being, just being poor and hungry for the.
Shit, yeah. I mean,
like, so you'd care about this first day.
Yeah.
Where like a lot of Christians, they're willing to have a horrible day, and we don't need to have a horrible day, but we're willing to have a horrible day to have the rest of our lives just in Disneyland. You know what I mean? But you would rather be in Disneyland this one day, and then be poor and suffering the rest. Do you see that connection?
No.
Because that's like, the reality of, and again, I don't know how much you know.
I got some time to ask some questions, I guess, while I'm at it, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, if I don't do this, what's going to happen to me in the end? I feel like if I know the details, then I can make a better, educated, decision on what I want to do in that scenario.
Yeah, and that makes sense. Like, it's hard to envision like if it actually was true, like how would you think? Because like, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
But I don't know, it's interesting, man.
I don't know. Right now, I feel like I could just do what I feel like is the right thing in the right moment. And if there is an afterlife, I feel like good deeds and good just start or whatnot, I'll be fine.
And according to the...
I'll end up fine.
And
Yeah, and so I'm going to enjoy the now that I know I have,
And that's intriguing to me. Even in the case of like Christianity, like saying like, we have some good deeds, but all our bad deeds outweigh all of them. Like, let's say if you did gay charity every day and you worked every day in charity in this world, and then you murder one person, just took 10 seconds out of your life, just killed them, and the rest of your life you did really good things.
Yeah.
What do you think if you go to court? What do you think they're gonna do with you?
Well, they're gonna try you as guilty for murder.
Exactly, and that's what the Bible says: is we've committed this evil. This
I'm not planning on killing anybody.
No, but even hating a brother or sister, even lusting out after a girl, even after stealing, these stealing amounts, putting this little evil. I think it's in God's eyes like equivalent to murder. Stuff.
Yeah, well, if he was kind of sad about it. Then he shouldn't have paid my bail with nailing up Jesus on the cross.
Oh man, that's intriguing.
It's simple. Yeah, that.
Oh no, it doesn't.
I'm fine. I'm not a bad person. I feel like.
Oh man,
I'm pretty sure.
But dang, it's hard to paint. I'm realizing it's hard to paint the picture. Because if in this example, if Christianity was true, it just says we're all bad people already.
Yeah, but
so
like
the jury's is
but did Jesus not die for our sins in this universe too? Then
he did, but you have to accept it.
We're chilling.
But you have to accept the gift.
Yeah, I obviously do. I'm like, I obviously accept that as a fact of the world.
Huh.
I'm not gonna be like, no, he didn't. Nuh-uh, this fundamental thing that happened. No, he didn't. I'm not gonna be like that.
Huh. Yeah, but like
It's like,
if you don't,
I don't know, man.
the
That's
one
like,
cost per se is to follow him, and you wouldn't follow him to accept this gift. Because it's like if you were on trial, you pay in for a cost you couldn't repay. Like
Yeah.
like you owe someone like $1 million and you gotta go to prison unless you
Yeah.
pay it up. And you have the judge who actually has that money and steps down and gives
Yeah, I
pays
don't
it
know,
up.
man.
But you have to follow the judge. You have to stop. He will only give you the money if you stop doing if you except to go to rehabilitation, if you will. So you stop getting into so much debt because you have a gambling addiction or something.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like you have to follow him because he's not gonna pay for it if you're just gonna keep doing what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like that's how it works. Like he paid for the sin, but if you're not gonna follow him, and to follow him is to go away from our evil acts. So if we're not gonna go from our selfish deeds,
Shit, man. If Jesus came up to me in this scenario and he's like, Logan, if you wanna go to heaven, you gotta stop doing these sinful acts. You gotta stop gambling. You gotta stop swearing all the time. You gotta stop drinking. I'll be like, man, really? You know anything else I could do then?
Yeah, but
and then he'd be like, yeah, here's some stuff you could do.
But
there's a bowling league down the road. You should join that instead of gambling all the time. And you really got to stop placing bets on how well you do in bowling. And I'm like, oh,
I think
it'll be difficult, but I think I might be able to.
Yeah, I think this is a
thanks for the heads up.
Yeah,
neighbor. It's
that's funny. Dang, you're hilarious.
I feel like that's how this scenario would fold out.
But actually, I think you did find a good one. I think, but I'll even step it up a little bit. But also, the Bible doesn't say you shouldn't drink. I have a beer every day. It's not against.
Oh,
the Bible.
it doesn't.
Nope,
okay,
you can
thank
drink.
God.
Against drunkenness, like getting hammered, because for being
that's
self-control.
fun.
Yeah, but I think God has a reason for it. So I trust Him.
Right.
But beer's so good. You ever have a summer shandy?
No, I have a bunch.
So freaking good. Yeah, I'll tell you. But one thing I'll say with that analogy, but I think it's even more like you have a gambling addiction, you have a drinking addiction, you have heroin addiction. You have no ability to be good. So it's not just Jesus coming. Like we need to follow him because we need his Holy Spirit. We need his Holy Spirit. We need him to rehabilitate us, and we need to be attached to his word. We need to be attached to him foot and toe if we want to get out of it. So it's not just like he's not just telling us to go be good people. He said, no, come follow me and I'll make you better. And I'll purify you. If you let me someday, I'll purify you someday so you can be with me in heaven, because sin can't be in the presence of God. Any sin whatsoever. So if we let him by our free will choice, he'll let us do it. So it's not just like us choosing to give up like, oh, I'm just gonna stop drinking a little bit. No, we have no ability to do it on our own. So that's a scenario of Christianity. And I'm also realizing, I'm telling you,
if it sucks then, in this scenario, it's either do this one thing, devote yourself the entirety of your time, being and like effort that you have in this life, and then no more doing whatever you want and enjoying the day that you've been given. It's kind of like
I'll tell you, but that's all you've known is just this. And again, like
I'm aware.
When I wasn't a Christian, I'm learning, dude.
Yeah.
I'm not a perfect Christian at all. I struggle with so many things. It's not even funny. But to give it up for just this much immense joy, with this peace, like peace alone. If I could only have peace and no joy, that'd be enough. Because freaking this life is stressful, man. But having immense peace,
it's not the goal in life. The goal in life is not to be happy all the time. Right. It's but contentment. Yeah, to have this peace, this ultimate joy, this pure joy. I think we all yearn, like in ways, like we all want something to fill this gap, whether our passions or have a girl, girl or whatnot. I think there's a God-shaped a hole which only God can fill in our hearts. And it's just so, and I'll tell you from this, Jesus is so worth it. I'd give up all of this just for the love of Christ. Someone who a main thing I think to Christianity is the security in someone. Our identities are crazy. And
for sports for me, I was huge, and I was stressful. And when I wouldn't make it to state for wrestling, I was like, oh, that sucks. Or if for track, I was doing pretty good in track here, and then I didn't be able to make nationals here. Like, it sucks. Or, for the longest time, and having a woman love me, but I have the security in Christ, which is this identity that won't change, and He will always love me. He'll love me no matter what, no matter how much of a screw up I am. And I don't know how much you've screwed up yet. I've screwed up enough to know that I'm going to screw up way more. And I need that. So that's like what you're giving up. Like we're giving up tech decks for a Lamborghini.
Tell me I got to give up tech decks,
but for like a Lamborghini.
Oh my God.
But we can't, it's hard to see that. And where there is steps of faith. I don't think they come without reason. I don't believe in blind faith. Like Mormons, they preach
but this is kind of what you're asking, though, is that I got to give up my comfortable life of everything I've known in this scenario and just give it all up for something that I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. After I'm dead, that's what you're asking, I don't know if I'm going to get the Lambo if I give up my tech deck, and I'm really enjoying my tech deck, I just learned how to do the sick flips. All right, I learned how to do an ollie on the railing.
I'm just some salesman coming up to your door, like, give me all your tech decks, I'll give you a Lamborghini tomorrow, and you're like, why should I believe you?
Yeah,
right.
How am I supposed to know? How am I supposed to believe this guy?
One thing I think it's huge.
Beam all knowledge into my mind. I feel like if that happens, then obviously. Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you. I think just about all the evidence points to Jesus. And I'd be curious if you can think of anything like, well, what about this? But one thing I'll say. I'll give you two things.
Yeah.
One thing is the resurrection of Jesus, the historicity of the resurrection of Jesus.
I feel like this evidence is just more like it's a helpful nudge in the direction. I don't think it is absolute proof, Here's the thing. This guy's doing miracles, right?
Yeah.
No doubt about it. I see this guy some dude lost his leg. He does a magic trick with a tablecloth and it's back. All right. That'll give what he's saying some merit, right? But if what would help is some details on what I gotta do. And and if I'm able to keep chilling with my tech deck,
Yeah. Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah. No, if you saw that.
Then, if I see Jesus do a miracle, obviously that's got some merit to it. All right, that'll definitely sway me in his direction, but I don't know.
Well, I'll throw something at you. We can see, we know there's 4 facts in history that we know. We know that Jesus existed. He was a real dude.
Yeah.
We know he died on a cross. History was these are facts from scholars, from atheists and Christians alike. Just the vast majority of scholars.
Yeah.
And the ones who disagree aren't respected.
And then his twin brother crawled out of the cave.
That doesn't work.
Yeah, it does.
We know he died. And there's people who walked with Jesus for years. They know who he is.
And while he was chilling up there, he wasn't chilling on the cross.
His twin brother walked out of the cave?
Yeah, his twin brother was just hiding back there in the cave. Nobody checked that room in the back.
The Romans...
do you know the Roman Empire? They didn't look too. Do you know who the Roman Empire?
Do you know who the Roman Empire is?
I'm aware it's like a group of people, but not a person. Yeah.
Now again, I'm blanking, and I wish I actually had these written down.
Oh yeah. No, but the Roman, I did hear about this. The Roman Empire really disliked them, right?
Yeah. There's this theory fall. Dang. I'd be curious to look why the twin analogy, because the twin theory, there's a swoon theory. These all fall. I mean, no one believes in that as a twin. No one believes it was a swoon. The best explanation for it that I've heard
is he just did that.
Is 500. Well, actually, I think that is, but the only alternate explanation. And this sounds ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
Is 500 people who saw him, he appeared to. They all hallucinated the exact same thing at once. And it's people don't do that. It's, and with also prophecy in the Bible, fulfilled prophecy that we can see.
Yeah.
There's actual evidence for it.
Well, I mean, it could be. Here's the thing. At this point in time, right, Jesus has obviously collected a mass following.
Yeah.
Of as we would say, extremely loyal extremely loyal followers.
Yeah.
could be. It is the longest, the biggest con in human history. All right. So much. I mean, I'm not saying he might have been a bad guy or anything, but he got his followers together and he's like,
Well,
hey,
if he's not true, he kind of has to be.
We're gonna fake this shit. All right. We're gonna fake this. Everybody, all 500 of these people, everybody who comes, you're gonna fill up the seats to my my crucifixion, and we're just gonna I'll go through the motions and all that, but you gotta say, yeah, he really died. Yeah, I feel like at that point, he's got a bunch of followers who are willing to do whatever for him, probably because he's helped them out somehow.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, could happen.
Yeah. The one thing that fight against that, no, that's one I know more about. This has been tried before.
About it?
This has been what?
Didn't I talk to you about the Jesus con theory?
If we've talked about it, I forgot about it. I think I remember.
Probably.
It was over there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. But like people, this has been tried before in Mormonism. Where they tried to get a group of actually about 12, about the same amount of people
Mormons.
to get together, and over half of them end up taking it back, saying, "Nope, I lied." And then these people, these 12, not one redacts over years of we have many.
He
and
found some loyal friends and followers.
They all go to the death. Like they didn't think this. They weren't thinking 2,000 years.
They take it to the death because then they got written into world's most sold book.
They get crucified. Do you realize what tortured? All 12 people torture. Like the Romans, if anyone knew how to torture people in history, all 12. Or all but one person of the 12 disciples, like the main group.
All of them got crucified?
No, they all got tortured. They all got killed. Some got crucified. They all got killed. They went to their death because of Christianity. All but one may have lived to old age and died. Yeah. One we don't know about. But that's a big swoon. And for what? Is. Like you barely want to, even if it was true, you barely want to just like give $20 to the cause. You know what I mean? Yeah, gave your life. Like. One thing, and here's another fact that most scholars, that the vast majority of scholars agree on. Yeah. That at the very minimum, from their acts don't make sense of their swoons. It only makes sense if they believe. Now, like there's atheist scholars who think they believed, and yet they don't think it's true. They think there's some other explanation, but they all know that they believed that Jesus, that Jesus was who he said he was. That's something we know. Even today, from historians and just viewing, we have so many writings, it's not even funny. Right. We know that. We know they believe. So, like, the swoon theory doesn't, that falls apart. Yeah. All these theories fall. I'm going to tell you, you dig all these theories fall apart. Though I have to remember. I
guess there's your answer. I'm going to be real with you. Yeah. I didn't dig at all for any detail. I just came up with this theory on the fly one day.
No, yeah, and most people don't. Yeah. But one thing, like, I'm telling you, I just want to, like, the thing I want to preach to people is I want to tell them, like, if it's true, it matters. And I want to say I think the evidence, like, lies. Like I'll throw you 6 sentences. Yeah. Which is huge. To even think about even one of these. I think there's 6 miracles that atheists believe in with no miracle worker. Here's some things we can see. So, the personal comes from personal comes from non-personal. I can explain that later if need be. The rest are easier. Actually, let me just look these up really quick. I also have I gave a talk on this actually. Presentation. Something you remember. Can I do them? Yeah. Life comes from non-life. That's you. Like reason comes from non-reason. I mean, we're talking like I want you to picture like rocks. Right. Non-reason. Reason comes from non-reason. Order comes from chaos. Morality, which comes from matter, and existence comes from non-existence. These are miracles that everyone accepts, but atheists think there's no miracle worker.
That's fair. I thought you were going to bring up like, this guy really did turn water into wine. No. Walked on water.
I think we can know very heavily, even without looking at history, that there's a God in the universe. Now this doesn't lead us. I think it ultimately has to lead us to Jesus. But this leads us to a God existence.
It does. It leads us to a God, which is the argument for agnostics. But they just don't. They're like, yeah, man. There most likely is a higher power at play here, but we don't know.
I think all the money. Like and you said. Here's one thing I wanted to address. You said we can't know for sure. but I don't think we base any of our lives on 100% certainty. Like you can get too many. You've driven a car before.
Oh
right?
yeah.
We know there's a chance you're gonna die in that. We know
Maybe if you suck at driving, but yeah.
There's not an absolute certainty you can get out of it. Like like when we eat our food, we could die from food poisoning when we eat it still. We kind of have to.
Yeah.
When we take some medicine for the cold, we're banking that people don't there's poison in there.
I mean, if you're going day to day thinking like, yeah, this food I cooked that I made sure to take the precautions to not get sick from, I cooked it fully. I'm not going to get salmonella from this chicken. If you're like worried that people poisoned every meal you have, of course you're going to go through life thinking everything's a gamble.
But I don't think I think life is a gamble, and we
know
it.
Of course it is.
Yeah, when people come down to Christianity, our beliefs, they say like we need like 100% certainty. But like I'm going to tell you, there's more. Life is. I think it is a gamble. But I think there's way more proof that we have the better horse. Like if we're gambling on horse racing, Christianity is one of the horses. He's looked pretty strong. You're like maybe there's some questions here. You want to look at the other horses? We're talking about little ponies. Several of them have broken limbs. Like I'm the money where you should place your money. I think it goes to Christianity, and like that's a big thing which I want to do at this table.
Okay.
Where people bring up points like, oh, why isn't this? I think why isn't this a better reason to put your money in atheism, and why I just do whatever I want? Because I think I have enough faith in Christianity. I think knowledge to show that no, those fall flat. So I don't know if you have like questions to why, because if it was true, because you have questions, if Christianity was true, you'd have questions. But again, like if you thought it was true, you'd do it if you knew if all those questions got answered. But I don't know. Do you have anything like, oh, what about like it looks like Christianity isn't true? Do you have something that says like, oh, this is a reason why it looks like Christianity isn't true?
Nah, not really. I got my money on lucky number 7.
No, yeah.
3-legged horse. He's gonna win me the big bucks. I got a hypothetical for you.
Sure.
Okay, so J-Dog, the man, the myth, the legend himself. He's you and him are hanging out for the day.
Rad.
Okay. What fast food restaurant are you taking him to? If you had to pick.
TJ's for now. A good one.
TJ's?
Good 2 for 1.
Okay.
Right now at this moment. Do you ever have their 2 for 1?
No, I've never heard of TJ's. I'm gonna be honest.
Taco John's.
Oh, Taco John's. Yep.
John, my bad.
Oh, okay. I got you.
You know, us followers of TJ's. You know, we use slang. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. They have this one right now. They have a special which you buy one get one for $1. Those meat and potato burritos. Those are really killer.
Okay, I might have to go.
They're
grab
so good. Oh man, just a potato lays in there.
Dude, my favorite thing from there is you get a buffalo chicken taco with some potato lays.
I gotta try that.
Oh, yeah,
I've only done them. I haven't actually expanded out of the meat and potato burrito.
They're like fried chicken tacos. They're so good.
Oh my dude.
Yeah.
I wish you didn't say that. I might have to go there for lunch.
You might.
Yeah. Oh, dude, really? Yeah. So if I don't know, maybe there. I don't know. I
Taco
wouldn't know.
John's. Not bad.
Yeah, I know. No one really eats in there that often. It's like I kind of like. It's kind of like suboptimal inside. Like it just seems like a little dirty and like I don't know. I kind of like it even feels real. You know what I mean?
Right.
McDonald's is too clean. It's just like
I don't like McDonald's.
Feels like the future and like I just want some classic. Just
man. Whenever I eat at McDonald's, I just don't feel like good after. Like my stomach feels like weird.
It has lately for me. Lately, and it's like feels like garbage.
I don't want to be like, yeah, man. You gotta go to McDonald's, but you gotta get the app. Yeah. You gotta track everything in the app so you get free food. I'm like, man, no, that's too much effort for food that makes me feel ill.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. But I like their crispy chickens too much.
Oh yeah.
And their fries. No one beats them on the fries. Like fresh
McDonald's
fries.
Fresh. I don't know.
Fresh McDonald's. I'm talking like right from the bag.
Yeah. You ask
when it's warm.
You ask for no salt, so they have to make
what?
Them.
Oh right. I've heard
so
that.
They have to make them fresh. Yeah.
Oh my! But fresh. You don't beat the McDonald's fries for fresh. No, you give them. I mean, you give them an hour.
You go to like Red Robin or something.
Okay, we're not talking.
They got phenomenal. Yeah, Red Robin's a fast food.
Well, is it?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know anything about Red Robin.
I'm pretty sure, or it could be a sit down. I might be mistaken.
Yeah,
I don't know. Or Arby's curly fries. Those are so bomb.
Would I beat? I haven't had them enough. I wouldn't say to beat them. They're good. They're good.
I like them better than the.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't complain. They're good enough to where I won't complain. I think you're wrong, but
Yeah.
I won't complain, which is interesting to me.
Mhm.
Well, I don't know. Any more questions or?
No, that's all.
Hey, dude, this is a lot of
good
fun.
shit.
One thing I mean, the final thing I'd say, I think it's true. I'd say Jesus wants you so bad. But I'd really just ask you to ask questions. But hey, dude, either way, this was fun. Appreciate
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's saluted.
Awesome.
Yeah, salute. Yeah, cool. That was fun. Thank you. And we're just doing this. That was hilarious. I don't know. We'll see if I turn it out. Like, I don't know if much families are gonna watch.